Hello. So I've been trying to go live and do this, but every time I went live, my screen just went black and I'm not sure what was going on. So you weren't able to see like anything that I was doing. So I decided to just go ahead and do a screen record for you guys and upload it. So hopefully this works. Hopefully you guys will be able to see everything. But I definitely wanted to do this for you guys and show you guys my post-session process. So this is like after a session, what do I do? Where do I put everything? Where do I organize it? How do I call? How do I export? All of the things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do this. First thing that I do is I have two external hard drives. I do a 2021 main, 2021 backup. I get a new one, I would say like once every quarter, maybe once every 2 quarters. I get two every quarter or every 2 quarters, one for my main and one for my backup. I also keep all of my RAWs. This is just a personal preference for me. I know a lot of photographers who don't keep their RAWs just because it takes up a ton of storage. But me personally, like I wanted to always have all of my RAWs all the time. It's just something that was important to me. So I don't mind purchasing extra storage space in order to keep that. Um, Now, after a little bit, sometimes I'll delete some of the raws. Sometimes I'll go through them and I'll be like, I don't need all of these. But honestly, like I'm just one of those people. I like to keep everything. So first thing that I do is I have over here my main hard drive, and I am going to go ahead and create a folder. Now, these are just some pictures of Noah, which Noah's my son, that I grabbed before he went up to Virginia. And so I'm just going to show you guys like how I would go about doing that, but we're going to use a different session for the rest of the post-processing. I just wanted to show you guys like how I take them off of my SD card, which is right here, and put them onto my external. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to File, New Folder, and I'm going to create a new folder. And this I'm just going to label as Noah. And then when I do that, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do another new folder and I'm going to put raw. So these are all of my raw images. So from over here, I'm not going to do all of them just because it will take forever for me to do all of them, but I'm going to click the very top one. So this is where your session started. And then you can kind of scroll down to like find where it would have ended. I'm just going to say it's going to end right here, even though it goes on forever. I'm going to push Shift and I'm going to tap that. So that way all of these images are highlighted. And then I'm just going to drag and drop. And then it'll copy right over. After it's done copying, I take this whole folder where it says Noah and I drag it over to my backup and I will back it up onto that right then. So that way all of my RAWs are backed up on two external hard drives. So that way I can take this out and go ahead and reformat it. So that way all the images are gone and it's good to go for my next session. So after you finish that, after you have like exported all of your images onto your hard drive, I go ahead and eject it. So you can do it by ejecting and just throwing in the trash and then it ejects it. Don't ever just pull it out of your computer because what happens is it can corrupt and damage your any of your devices. So that's your external hard drive, your SD cards, anything. You never want to just like take it off or else it's going to be, it could get corrupt. So from here, after I've put all of my images onto my externals, I'm going to go ahead and cull them. Now I use Narrative Select and I've been using the Narrative Select beta program for a while now. They actually just launched it. It's only for Mac users. So if you have a PC, I'm so sorry. I know that a lot of people use Photo Mechanic and some people use Lightroom, or there's a program in Adobe that you can cull images. I personally didn't like Photo Mechanic, so a photographer friend of mine, Lauren, told me about Narrative Select, and that's what I've been using. It's something that like I enjoy. I am going to eventually end up paying for it. I am still in the trial period, but I'm going to go ahead and pay for it after this. I wish that it was still free, but I get it that they need to make money. So I've already like loaded up one of my sessions in here. But if this is a brand new session, what you would do is go ahead and create project, and then you're going to choose a folder. And this is where you're going to pick like what folder we were using. So this one we were using at that point, Noah, and I would just hit raw, and then I would just choose the folder. I'm not going to hit it now because what would happen is it would load all of the images onto this, and I don't want it. Now, I do want to mention real quick, instead of, it says here like move your images from a memory card, don't ever move your images from a memory card to Lightroom or a culling program, because what happens is if you delete those images off your memory card, your computer won't be able to find them. They're not being stored anywhere. All you're doing is telling the program where they can find the file. So make sure you always have them saved onto an external. Don't save them onto your computer because it's wasted memory space. Make sure you're saving them on the external. And so if you pull up Lightroom or you're pulling up a culling program and they're saying that they can't find the image, then most likely it's because your external hard drive isn't plugged in, or you moved the folder and it can't locate it. So that could be another video for a different day on how to find that, but just make sure that you're not bringing them from your memory card. Make sure you're putting them from a hard drive. So from here, so if we had continued that, it would have asked us like a name and everything after it uploaded all of the images. But I already uploaded a whole gallery here, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what this looks like. So in this, I was already messing around in here, so let me get it back to the normal. Okay, so in this, it's going to show me all of the images that I uploaded from my session. And so as you can see, like it's a lot of images. It was, I think 556. Yeah, I'm an overshooter. So especially with like little ones, because you never know when you can get like a smile out of them. And if he's not being so smiley, I'm like constantly snapping just in case he gives me like a little smirk. So these are all of my images. As you can see, some of them have little red exclamation marks. Some of them have yellow ones. And the reason being is the program is telling us that, hey, out of like images that like kind of look similar, I don't think that this one is the best. Something is going on with it, whether it's out of focus, whether their eyes are closed, something is going on. And they're saying, hey, this isn't the best one out of all of these images. So what I go ahead and do is I go ahead and push this button. So those images are gone. So I'm not even looking at those now. And then from here, I can go ahead and look closer at all of them. I can actually click on it and get in a little bit closer, and it kind of tell me like what's going on with this. So it's saying with this girl, she's nearly in focus, which I'm okay with. But it says eyes are partially open. That's just how she smiled. She had like really squinty eyes. So like I'm okay with that. But as you can see, like my focus was on him. His eyes were open. They're saying their eyes are closed. So I can like kind of look into this. It'll also tell me, oh my gosh, look how cute. It'll also tell me when something is like really not in focus. So what I can do from here is if I like an image, if I'm like, oh, this one really works well for me, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5-star rating. And so I'm going to continue and go down all of these and give them 5-star ratings if I want to edit them. Now, I'm not going to select all of them. I'm not going to cull this whole gallery for you guys right now, just because honestly, like it would take me a lot longer, and I don't think that you guys want to watch me cull all of the images and tell you guys why I pick certain ones. I have a very hard time eliminating images, so it takes me a pretty long time to do this. But I already like picked a couple in here, and you can kind of see like which ones that I picked with just seeing the 5-star. So what I'll do from here though, after I picked all of my images, say I'm all the way down at the end of my 500 and some pictures, and I've picked all of the images that I want, I am now going to go over and hit this button that says ship. And these are going to send all of the images that I said that I wanted to Lightroom. So here it's going to ask me, how do I want to ship these images? How do I want to send them? So I'm sending them to Lightroom. And then what I'm going to do is it's going to say add to catalog. And I am going to hit create a new catalog. If you do not know what a new catalog does, let me just tell you guys real quick what it does. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this in Lightroom as well. So just in case you don't have a culling program, I can show you guys how to do this exactly in Lightroom too. So a new catalog is so important with Lightroom. It helps with how quickly your Lightroom program runs. So as you can see, I have about 556 images in this gallery, right? So if I pull those images, let's say like after I culled and everything, I have about 200 that I want to go ahead and bring into Lightroom and maybe edit and like cull down a little bit more, okay? So if I'm bringing in between like 50 and 150 or 200 images into my Lightroom every time I do a session and I'm using the same catalog, what's happening is every time I pull up Lightroom, it is bringing up all of those past images as well. So what happens is it becomes a lot slower because you are asking your program to load up all of these raw images, and it just takes up so much memory, and your computer is going to start running slower. Lightroom is going to start running slower, which means your editing time is going to be a lot longer. A new catalog just means that it's pulling up a fresh new piece of paper. So instead of like writing on something that you've already been writing on and trying to find a little bit of space, it's literally giving you a fresh new piece of paper every time you do a new catalog. So that way it's not crowded, that's way it's not running slow or anything. So that's why I do a new catalog every single time. Again, I will show you how to do this in Lightroom too. You can name your catalog. I'm just gonna name it, we're just gonna do, I think I'm up to test like 7 or something. And then choose your catalog location. I keep all of mine on my external hard drive in my backup. So these are all of my catalogs. And then I'm going to ship the images. And as you can see, I said I was going to ship the 5-star images on the bottom there. So it's going to pull up Lightroom for you. And what it's done here is if you see like all of these are grayed out, it's only highlighted and checked the ones that I've culled, that I've asked them to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and import these. It's taking a little bit longer. So if I wanted to go ahead, there they are. If I wanted to go ahead and cull and do everything through Lightroom, what I would do is when you pull up Lightroom, you are going to go up here and do File, New Catalog. And again, you are going to save the catalog as whatever you want to save it in whatever folder you want to. I highly suggest keeping it on your external hard drive. And then you're going to create, and it's going to load up a new catalog. So it's going to close out Lightroom and reload it. I'm not going to do it now just because it's kind of, you don't really need to. But from there, you would go to like import, and then you would import all of your images from there if you had a new catalog, if you weren't doing this through a culling program. Okay, so now that we have culled and we have put the images into Lightroom, now we want to edit them. So what I would do here is, let me go ahead and this little guy, yeah. I'm just going to edit one of these for you guys, and then I want to show you guys how I would put it into a gallery and how I would save it and everything. This isn't an editing tutorial, so I'm not going to go through all of these on how to edit. So what I would do here is I'm going to go ahead and apply my preset. From here, I would probably like up the exposure just a tad, probably cool it down just a little bit, and then fix the horizon line a little bit more. Perfect. So I would change up a little bit more on this, but I'm not, again, this isn't an editing tutorial. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I would change up a little bit. I would probably raise the shadows a little bit here, just because I don't like how dark the shadows are. And then I would probably change the sky up a little bit, probably brighten up the images just a little bit more. Yeah. So, okay, from here, after I have went ahead and I have edited all the images to the best of my ability that I want them to look like, I'm going to go ahead and go over to Library and export my images now. So this is how I export all of my images. I use a post-processing action called JPEG Mini. You can find that if you Google JPEG Mini. It's just an action that kind of compresses my images to make them not have as much space. So it doesn't take as much time to like load up onto my website. It doesn't take as much space on my external, but it's not changing the quality of the image. So I make sure I have that as well. And I'm going to choose my folder, and we're just going to pretend like this is Noah, so that way it's in the same area. Where is he at? Okay, perfect. And then I am going to put in a subfolder called print, so I know that these are all edited. And then I rename my sequence, and you can name it, I always use the last name, so this last name is Busby. And then I start with the number 1. My image format is JPEG. My quality is 100. I sharpen for glossy or matte. And I just do a standard sharpening. Sometimes I'll do low, but just standard. Everything's very standard. And then I don't resize or anything. And then there's my JPEG Mini. So I'm going to go ahead and export it using these settings. And export it. There we go. All right, so from here, let's go to Safari. And I'm going to go to Papa John's. I love that Papa John's comes up. Noah orders Papa John's so much. I love I push P and Papa John's comes on. All right, so from here, I use Pass Gallery. I've used it for a while. It was something that was told to me to use. Do I absolutely love it? Nah. Honestly, I don't really absolutely love it, but this is where I'm at and this is what I use. Pixie Set is really good. There's a lot of other gallery hosts that are really good as well. This is just what I use. So I'm going to head and do New Gallery. And I always name it the last name of the person. And then you can upload a cover photo. Let's do this. These are all the ones that I've already edited. So we'll just pick a cover photo. And you can pick the layout that you want. Like we could do something like this. We could do this. I could do that. So whatever like layout speaks to you. And then you're gonna go to photos, and I always say your gallery. And I'm just gonna do a couple here. And then I choose them, and it's going to upload all of them into gallery and then high resolution backup. So that's just like they're able to download them and have like high resolution images, so that way when they go to print them, they look right. So as this is doing it, I will go ahead and go to share, and I'm going to go to preview gallery. They're not loaded up yet. Hold on, give it a minute. Actually, you know what I can do? I'm going to just show you guys their gallery. All right. So let's say that I went ahead and I did the gallery and everything. I have all of the images in there that I chose for their final gallery. And then I'm going to go over here to preview gallery. And this just allows me to see what their gallery looks like. So I can kind of see like all of the images. If I want to make something bigger, I can make something bigger in their gallery. And I can just kind of like go through it. And then what I'm going to do is when I share it, I'll put her name in there. I'll put her email address in there. And then I'm going to do preview email invite. And from here, this is where I use my email templates, and I put it in my email template right here for the gallery, and then it's shipped off. I go ahead and send the email, and it is done at that point. So I have all of the images saved in the same folder. The gallery's done, and they have their images, and I follow up with them within 24 hours for a review and asking them if they like their images, if they had any hard times downloading them. So that is just kind of like how I do that. My process works really well for me. Doesn't mean that it is 100% the right way. It just works really well for me. It's important for me to keep all of my images. It's just, again, it's just something that's super important to me that I have all of them. I have all my raws and everything, and I have everything labeled where they're supposed to be. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. And if not, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week.